Hello, it's Karen again from Northants Pilates. Today's little video is going to be about using your spine or your back in a really effective way and sort of not trashing it when you bend down and pick things up, which is how lots of people's backs tend to go. Particularly when lifting and stuff like that. So pretend this is really heavy. So if it was a big box on the floor and I'm going to go down and pick it up and then I kind of use my back to lift it up instead of keeping my spine nice and neutral and using my legs to lift something up. So this today is really about how you can protect your back and make it work a lot better for you. So no expense bed with all our equipment. This is just a broom handle from Wilkinson's, 99p, but you've probably got one at home. It might have a mop or a brush on the end, but that doesn't matter. So what you're going to do is stick it behind you. So you want to have the lower hand against the back of your bum and holding the pole, and the other hand above your head. Sorry, we need to move the hair out of the way. So essentially, the back of your head between your shoulder blades and the back of your pelvis is touching this pole. Then you're going to bend the knees slightly, just a little bit, and then all you need to do is hinge forward, keeping your back completely still. So your spine is moving in space, but it's not changing shape. And then bring yourself back to upright. So don't straighten the knees or anything like that, and just keep going, hinging again, and gently back. So the trick is not to let your head fall away from the pole and not to move from your waist. So if he does one wrong on the next one, so start to hinge, bend at your waist. And then generally what happens is the head falls away and then the pole starts to lift away, then come back up. Good. And back to the top. So keep going with that. So see how far you can get. Can you get to almost horizontal to the floor, parallel to the floor, and then back up? And don't underestimate how powerful this exercise is, because you are really using your spinal muscles and your abdominal muscles all together to keep that spine and your pelvis really stable. So you're essentially just hinging on top of your two thigh bones. Your pelvis is tilting forward and everything else is staying nice and still. So it's a really good workout for your back, and you're building up lots of good tone in all those muscles. So from there, if you just take that round to the front for me. So now you're going to start to do a squat. So the first movement is coming from the hip. So just place the pole just at the top of your thighs and just do that little hinge back, hinge forward. So it's almost like there's two buttons there. You're pressing two buttons, and as you press back, you stick your bum out. So again, you're keeping the spine completely neutral, which is brilliant. Good. So you do a couple of little warm-ups like that. Now you're going to do a deeper squat and you're going to reach the pole out in front of you. So arms out, stick your bum back as you drop, and keep that complete neutral position again with your spine. What you could do is do this in front of a chair so that you're keeping that neutral position through the spine. And as you stick your bum out, it's kind of heading down towards the chair, and you can almost touch it and then squeeze back up again. And whilst you're doing that as well, just check your hip, knee and ankle position. So if your knees are a bit rubbish, and lots of your knees are a bit rubbish, let's face it, if they start kind of going in or doing something weird or wiggling around, it's kind of, that's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. So do it in front of a mirror so that you can see where those knees are going and what they're doing, and are your hips and knees and ankles tracking absolutely perfectly. And then you know that you're making a really good effort at working all the right muscles and not just letting your habitual patterns of movement just kick in. Okay, that's the first little section over with. Well done. Okay, here we are again with a little bit of work on your front. So we're going to look at how you kind of maintain your neutral position with your pelvis and your spine, and also work into the hamstrings and the bum really efficiently. So the first thing to do is to bend your elbows and then bring your fingers onto your hip bones underneath you. So you've got sort of sticky out hip bones underneath there. Then if you think of sending your pubic bone into the mat, and you can feel when that happens that your hip bones lift away from the floor, then just try and relax the upper body and not tense the shoulders as best you can. So to maintain that position, it's the usual pelvic floors and lifting up the abdominal wall, so you've got some support there to protect your lower back. So all you're going to do is use your fingers and your hands for some sensory feedback here. So the cue is take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, just lengthen your leg away and lift that leg slightly up, hold it there, and then lower it down. And then you do the same with the other leg. Lengthen, lift it, hold it there, and lower it down. And you keep going with that. And you can see he's still finding this quite tough to do. So your abdominals are here as brakes to keep this steady. So limbs are really heavy. So when that leg lifts up, what you want to avoid is the pelvis twisting or your back collapsing into lumbar extension. Okay, so you want glutes and hamstrings firing up, but really supported from underneath by your abdominal wall. So if you can feel as that leg lifts that your fingers are being crushed by your hip bones, then you know that your pelvis is moving. And that's illegal, as you well know. Okay, so you've done a few of those, and that's a really good thing to do because you're really working into your bum and hamstrings. So that's your first sort of prone leg lift, if you like. So now you're going to bring your hands underneath your forehead. And what you're going to do now is exactly the same position that you were before, with that tailbone lengthening away. But this time, turn your toes underneath and lift your knees off the floor. So you've still got your pelvis really firmly into the mat, but if I move the shorts out of the way, you can see that the thighs are slightly lifted off the mat and those knees are straight. Now, without lifting at your hip, just point your foot. Hold the leg there, so hamstrings and glutes are really firing up now, and then flex the foot and bring that leg back into position, and then the same with the left leg. Hover and hold, flex and bring it in, and keep doing it. So keep scanning the body, check that you haven't tensed your shoulders around your ears or you're gripping with your jaw. Keep those abdominals lifted underneath you, and then keep that pelvis still. So this is a really good exercise for your bum, big time, really good exercise for your bum. And also the ability to lift and hover and hold that leg in the air. Okay, you can rest there, well done. It's quite tough, it's quite hard, but you know, no pain, no gain. So let's go from there on to 4-point kneeling. So in this position, my big beef in class is that people start with their back arched up, and you need a little dip in the lower back and their heads. It drives me nuts when I see their heads hanging down. So let's not have your head hanging down. So first of all, we're going to start with tabletop, nice and simple. So imagine you've got a cup of tea balanced here on the back of your pelvis. Imagine there's another one balanced here on the back of your mid-back between your shoulder blades, and you've got another one balanced at the back of your head. So as you can see, his head is the highest point here. So without anything moving at all from here to here, again, pull up everything from underneath. You're going to just slide your right leg away until it's straight, and then you're going to lift it slightly, hold it 2, 3, 4, 5, bend that knee, bring it in. Regroup, slide the left leg away, keep that pelvis really level and still. Lift it and hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, well adjusted there because I saw him lift his head up, and bring it in. And then slide the other leg away again and lift it slightly. Now lift the opposite arm slightly forward, hold it there for 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring everything in gently and slowly. Try not to shift off to the side. Slide the other leg away and then lift the opposite hand and hold it again, shoulders away from ears, and gently bring it in. Let's have one more either side. So keeping it really steady. I'm going to move out the way so then you can see if he starts to wiggle too much. Good. And one more to be even. Keep that really steady. Reaching it away and hovering and bringing it in. Perfect. From here, we're going to bring the right hand to the forehead. Elbow is going to go out to the side. So you're just going to do 3 times. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, turn towards the right and turn and look up towards the ceiling. Inhale to come gently back down. Exhale to rotate. Think of a salute, rotating, and inhale to come back down. One more time. Exhale to rotate. Inhale, bring it in and down. Place that hand down. Keep that head lifted. Swap to the other hand. Take a breath in. Exhale to rotate, inhale to bring it in, exhale to rotate, inhale to bring it in, one more time, exhale to rotate, inhale to bring it in. From there, slide your left leg away to straight and just keep that toe on the mat. Now bring your right hand to your forehead, take a breath in, breathe out, rotate again. Exhaling, inhaling to return 3 times, 2 more. So now we've made it more difficult because you've really got to keep that pelvis stable. So you've got to really kick in underneath here to keep everything nice and steady. Then place the hand down, slide the leg in, slide the other leg away. Bring the left hand to the forehead, exhale to rotate, inhale to return. And just keep that cup of tea balanced here on the back of your pelvis. And one more time. And gently down. We're going to finish with threading the needle. So keep your pelvis really still, take a breath in. As you breathe out, bring the palm underneath you and then reach it and twist to the side. So you're going to reach that, so you're rotating through the thoracic spine, keeping the pelvis level and still and bringing it back to the center. Breathe in, breathe out to thread under and rotate. So twisting round. You can bend the supporting elbow slightly, that's really good. And then bring it back in. And off you go again, thread it under. And keep your palm really low to the floor. It's gliding along the floor and it's just behind your opposite wrist. You're not heading towards your kneecaps here. Twisting round again, rotating through and bring it in. Let's have one more either side just in case. So turn the head, turn the neck, turn the thoracic spine, kind of people origami. Last one through to this side, I think. Did we start on the other? Yeah. You started this side. Sorry. We've done an extra one. And then finish through there. Perfect. And now just walk forward slightly for me and bring your knees forward for me. And now you're going to go into a hip stretch. So you're going to bring this leg over the back of the other one, slide down and back, and rock down onto your pelvis. So now what you're going to do is rock over towards the center and rock back over the heel. And keep rocking over, rocking back. So we're going to stretch into the hip now, and it gives your wrists a breather. And while you're there, this is a really good place to do a kind of glute and hip stretch. Gently back, one more over. He was trying to move too soon. Gently back. Then bring your hands to the side of your knees. Push yourself up to straight, but see if you can edge that leg further back and just get a little bit more stretch in there, which is perfect. And then what he's not going to be able to do without adjusting is the pretzel stretch. So scoot over that way a bit. Lovely. So then what you do is you drop the right buttock down onto the mat, bring that leg around and up to there, and then pull it towards you, and then drop your head forward and let the leg drop away from you. So let that knee drop away from you, keep dropping your head forward, and then yeah, the further over you can go. He's quite flexible, which is kind of good. You might not get that far, but don't worry, that's okay. And just relax into it, and it's kind of a really nice little stretch. So then we need to come up onto hands and knees and do the stretch with the other leg. So you're going to, if you go forward and over that way, then you're going to take the right leg behind the left leg and sink back. So in an ideal world, what you're getting, you're bringing that leg right underneath you. So you've got your opposite hip dropping onto your opposite heel. And then once you're there, head down if you can get it there, arms reached out, you rock from side to side. So that little kind of oscillation around the hip starts to stretch into the buttock of that bent leg. Sorry. Then bring your hands to the side of your knees, press yourself up to straight, and the straighter and the more you can lift the breastbone, and you can edge that leg back a little bit more. See if you can get a bit more down onto that heel underneath you, and hold the stretch there. Then he needs to shuffle this way a bit, otherwise it's going to fall off. This is so much easier on the floor. And then swing that leg around and then relax over. So just try and let that front knee drop away from you, and then your head drops down towards it, and that's your little pretzel stretch. So kind of more origami for people. And that's it. So you have a really neat little sequence on 4-point kneeling. Well done.